Hey there everybody. So today's project, it's a rather small one. Just I guess you could call it a preventative maintenance type of little thing. We're gonna go ahead and remove the throttle body so we can just clean out the inside of it. I've already removed the cover for the airbox and the filter and the hose that connects it obviously to the throttle body. Removing that's pretty simple, just a couple of clips. So to remove the throttle body, you're gonna have to go ahead and disconnect this cable. It's just kind of just gently pry it off with a screwdriver, and this cable right here, just slide it backwards towards this fender and it'll pop right off. What you're gonna need is a 10mm socket with a socket wrench and a T20 Torx bit. Then you got a couple sensors that you've got to disconnect. I've already disconnected one. So there are 4 screws around here. They're just a 10mm. Alright, so I just came back from a short drive. So if you're doing this with a hot engine, these bolts that these 10mm bolts you take out, they'll be a little hot. Alright, so once you've got these 4 10mm bolts removed, you can get yourself a screwdriver like this and just gently pry up and separate it. I've still got 2 sensors connected that I've got to remove. There's one, and this one's 2. Alright, and that is it. My throttle body is free. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take this inside to the garage sink and remove this sensor. These are the T20 Torx screws that you got to remove this sensor. Now when you remove this, you got to be very careful. So just pull it out very gently. You don't want to damage it. Hashtag when you realize your microphone has been off the whole time. Alright, so to remove the gasket that stays stuck onto the surface here, you just got yourself a putty knife and have at it. Just scrape it off. Mine's being stubborn. Oh, there we go. Make sure you get everything off of here. There's even some of the extra sealants stuck in the holes for the 10mm screws that hold the whole throttle body down to the intake manifold. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw most of this stuff out, including the toothbrush. It is filthy and I will never use it again. Alright, I'm going to put this sensor back in. Alright, now so when you're putting this back in, make sure you don't put it in backwards. I have a 2000 Cherokee, so this plug just faces right in, but sometimes they come in from the side. So for this one, you're going to want to put this label facing away from the throttle body. But with this positioned on the engine, your head cover is right here. So on this side over here you have your airbox. So you want your label facing away from your airbox. Don't forget to put your O-ring back on. So now that I've got the undersurface of the throttle body clean, I'm going to go on over to the Jeep and make sure that the mounting surface that meets the bottom side of the throttle body is also scraped clean. So I'm going to take my putty knife and I'm going to take some carb cleaner and I'll take a rag. Alright, now unfortunately it is nighttime, but we've got some light. Make sure that you don't want to get anything in here. I'm just going to try to scrape this off. Try to clean up this surface. Cool. I think we're ready for the reinstall. Alright, so I went and got the throttle body from inside the garage. I'm just gonna let's set the new gasket in place. Just carefully fit this back into place. Okay, make sure your holes line up. And so it looks like all your holes are lining up correctly. Go ahead and take those 4 10mm bolts and just start putting them back in. Alright, so this is number 3, and I'll have to jump down and find number 4 in a second because it fell. Found the 4th one. Let's go ahead and plug our sensors back in. Make sure they're on all the way. And don't forget to reattach your cables. This one's the one with that little ball. Just snap it back on. And this one, you slide it past the peg, and it kind of just hooks on, and you give a little push. Yep. Make sure it snaps into place like that. Alright. Only thing left to connect is put the filter and the lid back on in the airbox and the hose that connects the airbox to the throttle body, and make sure you connect this vacuum line back to the airbox lid. Filter back in. Here's the lid for the airbox. Remember, your hose is going to attach on this end to the throttle body, so it really only goes on one way. put this vacuum back on. Let's put this hose back on. This is a 5/16. Actually, I think this is a little big, but it works. And then you have your clip over here, you just tighten it by hand. And that's it. I'm actually just gonna let it sit overnight. So yeah.